The whole family went last week. My mother's voice rang through the phone when I asked about our vacation. The trip I had just transferred $8,000 for, the one I'd been planning for months. My hands started shaking as I realized what they'd done to me. My name is Maya. I'm 29 years old. I work as a software engineer here in Denver with my fiancé Jake. I've always been the responsible one in my family. The one who helps when money gets tight. The one who remembers birthdays and sends Christmas gifts. The one who saves every penny so I can take care of the people I love. I'm not wealthy. I just know how to budget. I clip coupons. I buy generic brands. I drive a 10-year-old Honda because I'd rather put that money towards something meaningful, like my parents' 30th wedding anniversary. I'd been saving for an entire year to give them their dream trip to Napa Valley. I wasn't the golden child like my brother Ryan, but I thought my heart was in the right place. If you've ever been the family giver who gets nothing back, drop your location in the comments. I want to know I'm not alone in this, because what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about family. I spent 3 months researching that perfect Napa Valley package. I called hotels. I compared wine tours. I looked up restaurant reviews. I wanted every detail to be perfect. My parents had always talked about visiting wine country. They'd cut out magazine articles about Sonoma County. They'd watch travel shows and point at the screen saying, "Someday we'll go there." Well, someday was going to be their anniversary. I coordinated with their work schedules without them knowing. I booked the flights, the luxury hotel with the vineyard view, the private wine tastings, the romantic dinner at that French restaurant they'd dreamed about. When I surprised them with the full itinerary 3 weeks before departure, they cried. Actual tears of joy. "Maya, this is the most thoughtful thing anyone has ever done for us," my mother said, holding the printed confirmation pages against her chest. My father hugged me so tight I could smell his cologne. "Our daughter is amazing," he told my mother. "How did we get so lucky?" I transferred the $8,000 that night, every penny I'd saved, but seeing their faces made it worth it. The day before their departure, I called to confirm what time I should pick them up for the airport. That's when my world collapsed. "Oh honey, the whole family went last week," my mother said, as casual as discussing the weather. Ryan thought it would be better timing with the kids' school schedule. My breath caught. "What do you mean the whole family went?" "Well, Ryan and Jessica and the kids, your father and me. We had such a wonderful time. The hotel was gorgeous. You picked such a lovely place." The phone felt heavy in my hand. "But Mom, I was supposed to go with you." "Oh sweetie, Ryan explained that you're so busy with work, and you don't really drink wine anyway. Besides, you're single. You can take trips anytime you want." Single, like that made my money less valuable. Like my love meant less because I didn't have children hanging off my arms. "Ryan has responsibilities, Maya. He has a family to feed. You understand?" I understood all right. I understood that my brother had convinced my parents to steal my vacation and take his family instead. I understood that they'd used my $8,000 but took Ryan's wife and 2 kids, turning it into a $15,000 family trip. I understood that I'd been erased from my own gift. "We thought you'd understand," my mother continued when I stayed silent. "You don't have responsibilities like Ryan does." I hung up. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely set the phone down. But that was just the beginning. 2 days later, I opened Instagram. The first thing I saw was my mother's post. A photo of my family raising wine glasses at the exact restaurant I'd booked. The caption read, "Thanks to our amazing son Ryan for this incredible gift. 30 years of marriage deserves celebrating in style." Ryan had 37 likes. Comments poured in from family friends. "Ryan is such a generous son. What a thoughtful boy you raised. So blessed to have a son who takes care of his parents." I screenshot everything. Then I commented, "Actually, I paid for this trip. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad." Within an hour, my comment was deleted. My aunt texted me that evening, "Ryan is such a good son. Not like some kids who never do anything nice for their parents." The knife twisted deeper when I realized Ryan had been telling people he'd planned and paid for everything. My gift, my love, my sacrifice, all credited to my golden child brother. A week later, my parents invited me to dinner. To discuss things, they said. I should have known it was a trap when I walked into their favorite steakhouse and saw Ryan and his wife Jessica already seated at the table. 4 against 1. "Maya, you're being dramatic about this whole vacation thing," Ryan said before I'd even ordered. His voice had that smug tone I remembered from childhood. You make good money. You can afford another vacation. I have a family to feed. Jessica nodded like he'd said something profound. My parents sat there, expecting me to apologize, to be the bigger person, to swallow my hurt, and pretend it didn't matter. It's just money, Maya, my father said, cutting into his steak. Family is family. Just money. $8,000 of just money. You're being selfish, Ryan continued. The kids had such a great time. You should be happy we could all bond as a family. I wanted to throw my water glass at his face. Instead, I smiled politely, paid for my untouched meal, and left. 2 weeks later, they called again. This time, they needed me to co-sign a loan for Ryan's new business. Some app idea that was going to make him rich. After everything we've done for you, my mother guilt-tripped when I said no. Ryan called me later that night. I never would have treated family like this, he said. I'm disappointed in you, Maya. Mom and Dad are too. My mother's follow-up text was the final straw. I'm disappointed in the person you've become, Maya. The person I'd become? The person who worked 60-hour weeks to save money for their dreams? The person who remembered every birthday and anniversary? The person who sent flowers when Dad had surgery? The person who helped with Mom's hospital bills last year? That person? But here's what they didn't know. Jake, my fiancé, works in family law. He'd been watching this whole situation unfold. He'd been taking notes, and Jake doesn't forget financial betrayal. While my family celebrated at my expense, I'd been quietly documenting everything. Screenshots of the Instagram posts, bank transfer records, text messages, every cruel word and every stolen dollar. Jake helped me dig deeper. We discovered that Ryan had borrowed money from our cousin Sarah last year and never paid it back. He'd convinced our uncle to invest in his last failed business. There was a pattern here. Ryan was manipulating our parents to get money from various family members, and they were too blind to see it. They think you'll stay quiet and keep funding their lives, Jake said one evening, looking through the evidence we'd gathered. They're wrong. My phone rang. It was Sarah. Maya, I need to tell you something about Ryan, she said. Her voice was shaking. He borrowed $5,000 from me last Christmas. Said it was for the kids' presents. He promised to pay me back by March. It's October now. Sarah wasn't the only one. Over the next few days, I learned that Ryan had borrowed from our aunt, convinced our grandparents to help with the mortgage, and even taken money from Jessica's parents, all while posting on social media about his successful lifestyle. My parents assumed I'd gotten over the vacation incident because I stopped bringing it up. Ryan grew bolder, posting about his new business venture on Instagram. The family group chat buzzed with Christmas planning, everyone assuming I'd contribute like always. I heard my mother on the phone with Ryan one evening when I stopped by to drop off her medication. Maya will come around, she said. She always does. She needs us. Needs them. I'd given this family over $30,000 in help over the past 3 years. Not loans. Help. Money that was never repaid because family doesn't ask family for money back, right? Wrong. Jake helped me document every transaction, every emergency my parents had called about. Every time Ryan needed just a little help. Every birthday gift. Every medical bill. Every car repair I'd covered. $30,000. Plus the $8,000 for the vacation they gave to Ryan. I was done being generous. It was time to be smart. Jake created legal documentation showing the vacation transfer was actually a loan agreement. He researched family financial fraud laws. He prepared paperwork that would make Ryan very uncomfortable. Then my parents called with an emergency. Ryan's business was failing. They needed family support. We need to discuss Ryan's situation as a family, my mother said when I arrived at their house with Jake and a manila folder full of documents. Ryan and Jessica were already there, looking desperate. Perfect. Before we discuss anything, I said, sitting down and opening my folder, let's review some financial history. I spread printed bank statements across their dining room table, every transfer highlighted in yellow, every date circled in red. Here's every penny I've given this family, I said calmly. Here's what I'm owed, and here's the payment plan. Jake handed my father a legal document. The vacation transfer was documented as a loan, not a gift. Maya has grounds to pursue legal action for financial fraud. Ryan's face went white. You can't be serious. We're family. Family doesn't steal vacations, I replied. Family doesn't lie about who paid for what. My parents tried to mediate, but I had proof of their complicity. Screenshots of Ryan telling people he was supporting me financially. Bank records showing he'd never paid back a single loan to anyone in the family. You have 48 hours, I said, standing up. Family meeting with accountability or lawyers, your choice. My father reached for the papers with shaking hands. The golden child had finally been exposed, and they all knew it. Ryan chose lawyers. Bad choice. Within 6 months, my parents had a repayment plan to avoid legal action. Ryan's wife Jessica filed for divorce when she learned the truth about their finances. Other family members came forward with their own Ryan stories. Our cousin Sarah got her $5,000 back. Our uncle recovered his investment. My relationship with my parents isn't the same, but it's honest now. They know I'm not their personal ATM. They know my love has boundaries. They know real family doesn't take your generosity for granted. I learned the difference between being generous and being used. Real family celebrates your heart, not just your wallet. If your family has ever stolen your generosity and made you feel guilty for calling it out, you're not alone. Drop a heart if you've had to set financial boundaries with family. Share your story in the comments. I read every one, and your experience might help someone else. Subscribe if you want more stories about standing up to family manipulation. Where are you watching from? Let me know below.